So anyway, that will be us underway and into Consulate. And like always, the banning phase will be first up. This does dictate the way that the match will be played. Certain operators perform a lot better on particular maps, and I'm sure we're going to be expecting a bit of the similar thing already. The big man, Lion, off the board from MnM. They don't want to deal with the Lion, and in response, Unnamed, they get rid of the Blackbeard. So two very big attackers, and really, I would say the most common ones we see for Consulate.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already seen Blackbeard go out in that MnM game that you mentioned from last week. So it's just about getting up onto those single windows or potentially up onto the balcony as well. Blackbeard just holds down so many angles and rotations on Consulate.
That's a bit of a weird one for me, is banning Mira. I don't think Mira brings a whole too lot to Consulate, in my opinion. I think that she is more suited for better maps that have more of these anchor kind of setups. Consulate's all about their own game. There's a lot of staircases you can really use and abuse. C4s from below. We've seen a lot of that from Prox from MnM last week as well. That's kind of what I'm expecting that these teams are going to try and play around, is those Valkyrie cameras and those cardiac scanners from below, get the C4s tossed up, really clutch out the rounds wherever they need to be. So why go and ban the Mira if you're going to fear potentially for your team getting C4'd from below? Maybe Valkyrie would make more of a logical sense.
Yeah, I think you've touched on it there, Demo. Information is key when we're coming into Consulate. It's a roam-heavy map. You want as much information as you can get. Getting those Valkyrie cams out, it's absolutely no surprise to see Nilo picking the IQ there. You've got your Maestro cams, potentially. We don't have a Maestro picked in this lineup, but again, not an unusual pick on Consulate, just to be feeding in as much information as possible. I think that's probably part of the logic that's gone into the final ban, which was Echo. So, yeah, a little bit strange to see Mirror, but that's something that MnM did last week as well. They also banned Mirror out, so there's obviously something that concerns them about Mirror on this map.
The only thing I could really expect that they fear in potential Mirror windows is if they're struggling for those kind of garage attacks, because that's really where Mirror does excel. 9 times out of 10 is in towards that downstairs bomb site. And we will be going with the downstairs bomb site first up, and looking at the lineup from Unnamed, there's going to be really no Valkyrie should say pulse scanners coming out. We do see the Valkyrie, but really pulse is always a big operator for the downstairs because you can gain a lot of intel from the garage and then using that verticality, try and C4 somebody inside of piano. Very good at trying to control if a sledge or a buck wants to, you know, kind of rain havoc on your entire team. But they're going to try and go for more of the heavy anchors as Doc will be brought inside of the lineup. Going to try and provide, I would say, a bit more of that kind of potential rotate roam game, because we see a lot of rotates in through all the different staircases, and Doc, he can be used as a bit of a roamer. We've seen that before. Teams don't like playing him on site. He has a great gun. He can stem himself on the go. Does actually make for a pretty viable operator in terms of roaming.
Yeah, he can be absolutely fearsome as soon as he's going to get himself into a gunfight. As you've said, juices himself up. You know, you're potentially up to 140 HP there, and that is, in Siege terms, can be huge in terms of the gunfights. Yep, you've got the one-shot headshots, but aside from that, you know, failing that, if he can keep himself at a distance with that ACOG, absolutely deadly. Yeah,
it's an extra 4 or 5 bullets that you have to put into that guy before you kill him. That could be devastating for an operator that has a slower rate of fire, like IQ with a 5.52, or even with Thermite with a 5.56. 5.52, 5.56, always just so similar of guns, yet so far apart.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to see a couple of the defenders just staying down on garage at the minute. Citizen moves in with the first kill, and that could be a big one, Demo. Madman going straight off the board.
Yeah, that's the man who's really put it inside of the hands of Unnamed, but he's going to get taken out straight away. And so Jugger as well, he falls. So already Citizen, this is a guy who has performed so big for MnM throughout this entire season, is already doing the business whenever his team needs him to be. MnM, they have control off the top floor, still cautious of any potential rotates that could come up, and Mac on that yellow stair, smoke very devastating with the shotgun. I've seen a lot of smokes just simply walk up yellow and get 2Ks. It's that ridiculous what happens. Tank, he may be looking to go for a bit of a C4 kill and try and deny access to anybody wanting to. Oh, he gets just that. Tank C4 from below eliminates Citizen, so it does give Unnamed a bit of a fighting chance.
That's it, and Prox moving in on the Jackal there. He's got piano floor opened up. He's going to start taking those bandit batteries off the garage door, so that's going to allow the Thermite of Frau to move in now, as expected really, with, you know, really wanting to blow both panels on that garage door wherever possible for the increased visibility, and then they can start working towards getting a plant down. They've still got the Jackal, so assuming that Prox has brought smokes on there, that's just going to assist in getting that plant down as well. You've got the Capitao arrows, so MnM in a very good position here. Citizen off the board, but he won't mind that, having taken two of those defenders out early and reduced the roam game massively.
They still have to go up against Mac on the yellow stairs with those gas canisters ready to be deployed and try and eliminate a potential rush. Another one gets tossed out, only 30 seconds to go. He has one more left. Shotgun in hand can really stop this plant indefinitely. The wall will be opened up and the last toxic beam will be tossed out by Mac. So it's going to be down to him and Tank and Meads to try and secure this round. Already, Prox pushing down yellow aggressively. Nello as well with the aggressiveness. Eliminates Meads down to Tank, who's in an extremely difficult position. Finds one onto Freo, but straight away that Q swings on round and eliminates him as well. So Unnamed fall and MnM, they take the first round inside a consulate.
Surgical performance from MnM in the first round there. Citizen getting himself in upstairs. Absolutely phenomenal roam clear. Very quick, I think, within the first 30 seconds. He's got 2 kills on the board. The roam has been eliminated and we're just down to operators on site. He then gets wiped out, but Nello comes in. Absolutely no surprises. Fragging partner coming through. Picks up the other 2 to finish the round off. Excellent plays from MnM.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, we see it time and time and time again. If an attacking team has that room clearance, they take out the roamers, they have control of that mid floor, they have so much time to work with, they can get rid of all utility inside of the bomb site, and then they simply walk in, they either kill them or they just plant. It's that simple off a garage take, but it's all about that room clear out, and certainly that's what MnM managed to do. We will see Unnamed go for the switch. They will instead up for the top floor, so their second pick bomb site again. Consulate, a map which has all of its bomb sites viable. We've seen this time and time again, but upstairs definitely more of the common ones.
Yeah, and no surprise that we've got the Valkyrie here. Tank obviously brought her in the first round, but I think she plays, certainly it's fair to say, less of a part on the garage hold than she does on top floor. Top floor you can get some fantastic outdoor cams. The IQ of Nello is going to make it easier to find those, but that being said, they want Nello at a point, they're sort of limited on time. Nello has to be thinking about getting inside the map as well with IQ and working on those electronics inside. So can only give a limited amount of time. And with the number of trees, bushes, you know, and outdoor furniture on Consulate that you can hide those Valkyrie cams around, I'd expect to see at least maybe one of those surviving. And if it's the right one, they can be devastating. Yeah,
you can literally get a camera on a corner of the building and it covers not just one side but also another side as well, so you could throw it on the southwest corner and you then cover the south of the building and also the west of the building. So really strong. Just in terms of the size of Consulate, it's a very small map. In the observer feed you can fit the whole map just in one spectator view, which I think that's the only map that you can really do that in, unless you're counting house. But no, it's not in the map pool, so don't get tricky, Twitch chat. I know you might try and say, oh Demo, he doesn't know his things, house is actually smaller. I know that. God damn it, it's like living with with my mother again. That's what it's like.
I can see the weight of the Twitch chat it's heavy on you there, Demo. You certainly don't want to be questioned.
Not a nice place.
No, no, I've seen that firsthand. So we've got Prox on the Jackal, just moving up to the connector window there, but he's going to rappel back down. He's looking for some footprints, getting that information again. We've got a Jackal track that's active, but Tank will come in. How's about that? Second C4 kill of the game so far, and that's one of the fraggers off the board for MnM. And if those Valkyrie cams haven't gone down as of yet, that could be a big one with IQ coming off the board.
Another C4 kill to Tank's name, 2 in a row, and Meads, good effectiveness with the stim pistol, gets him right back up to full HP, and also Madman, he was stimmed as well, so he did take a couple of shots from downstairs, trying to fight a couple of nasty angles. As you can see, the setup from MnM looking very aggressive. One of them on that spiral, ready to play aggressive as much as he can. Everybody else just taking it slow, getting the setup done, and then I'm sure in the final couple of seconds it will more or less just be a bloodbath.
Yeah, we've got all 4 defenders on site. Sorry, all 4. I'm acting as if one of them's dead, but they're not yet. We've got all 5 defenders playing on the top floor, pretty much around site. Not too much of a roam game this time. That's where this site varies from downstairs a lot of the time. Although, you know, it still is certainly possible to be moving up them stairs. Tank just getting another kill there for his team onto Turtle, and that's another important one. If he could have picked 2 operators to take off the board, my guess would have been the bit IQ and Capitao. And then we see Mac bringing down Prox, so that puts us in a 5 versus 2. Unnamed coming back strong after that first round loss.
Prox had enough, he just died and he rage quit up. Unbelievable from Prox, but anyway, it does swing in favour of Unnamed. Freo gets himself a kill to his name. Thankfully Prox has returned, but he just comes back in time to see Madman clean up the final 2 kills onto his teammates, and Unnamed, they bounce back after that round loss. Their upstairs defense proves to be too much for MnM, and we're going to go 1-1 heading into round number 3.
Yeah, great players from Unnamed there. I think they took away from the first round what went wrong. They lost them roamers very quickly, left themselves in a man advantage to MnM, within the first 30 seconds of the round. So this time, just decided to switch it up. Not going to bang their head against the wall with that. They just sat back into sight, kept man count on sight, held their angles. You know, they had Meads on the dot with the ACOG. I know he didn't get a kill there, but again, it's just closing down those lanes, restricting the movement of the attackers. They did that very well and picked up the round. So back downstairs is what the players of Unnamed will be heading towards. They haven't had the best of runs with this so far. They have lost their previous attempt that they tried to withstand. Certainly mid-floor could have been an option for them, but maybe they've learned from their mistakes. They've realised what they need to do differently. The only difference I can really see is that Doc, he has not been picked this time around, so I believe that Mead's on the Jaeger. This time he's going to pick up that potential roaming role and try and help Madman as much as he can. Certainly if those 2 guys are upstairs rolling the roost right up in the faces of MnM, then if they have the gun skill, that can really turn in favour of Unnamed. Even if they don't get kills, it just wastes time. That's what it's about as a roamer. Yeah, sure, you want to get kills to try and give your team that advantage, but if you waste time, you waste utility, that's even better, because whenever it comes into those final couple of seconds for the push, it's so much easier for players on the bomb site, like Mac, the clutch up, because he doesn't have to worry about getting naded or getting flashed or anything like that, and he can sit back, relax, and kill them. Burning time, burning resource is the name of the game, essentially, for the roamers. If they can take a minute and a half off the clock, and it's just, as you said, you've got less resource to deal with, you're not worrying about taking nades on site, but also it's just rushing that thought process, that mentality from the attackers. Maybe they don't go in with their ADS up because they're running in. Maybe they're not checking those corners as they're going in, and that can be a big difference come the end. Also interesting to see Meads getting himself out onto the roam. In previous weeks here in the Premiership, we have seen him picking up plenty of frags, so get him out onto the roam, give him a good gun with the Jaeger, see what he can do, rather than keeping him on site as the Doc. I think that could be the difference in this round for Unnamed.
Bit of a different strategy this time from MnM. Typically they take from the admin, but really they're pressuring the mid floor a lot more than what we're used to seeing. The drone work comes in, they can see that top floor's gonna be clear. Everybody has just roamed away downstairs except for one player up inside of the piano, and Nello already being down from that first engagement. Tries to take the fight, but loses it unfortunately to Jugger inside of bathroom. Has the mute jammers as well, so it denies a lot of that access off those drones that MnM heavily use. They're a very big drone side. Prox trying to push on in towards piano, but Jugger holding his ground. This could get pretty messy here in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, we've seen MnM coming in and, being slow and methodical team over the last couple of weeks. So they like to just get in there, they like to set themselves up for the attack and then a late round execute, moving on to site. Jugger doing a fantastic job here in bathroom, just holding it off. As I said earlier, the roamer's main #1 job is wasting time. Look at that, we're down to nearly a minute on the clock, still don't have control of piano. Jugger, missing his shots there, he's got to get the kill, and that allows Citizen to come in and get the headshot onto Jugger. That's great plays from MnM. What
a mistake from Jugger, just completely whiffs the shots, gets punished for it, but still good bit of utility wasted. Mac, he tried to rotate up the other stairs, did get hurt from it as well, so 40 seconds to go. Still in favour of MnM, they have plenty of utility as well, they have a good bit of time to make this execution work. It's really down to the players up on Unnamed that they can hold their ground Prox trying to work with the shotgun as much as he can, open up using those Inox pings as well as he can. Turtle, probably the first man to try and take the fight to Mac, as finally the wall will get opened up by Freo. Citizen going to try and go for the back. Mac could get caught out very easily from those spiral stairs unless he is going to be covered. Do see a first Toxic Babe go out as well as the smoke arrows, and Nello has the cover. A double kill for him onto tank Freo. Crumbles Madman down to Mac inside of a 1 versus 5, but that's going to be no good to him as Turtle will be there pushing in through the garage door. Gets the final kill for himself and a flawless attack from MnM.
Very good round from MnM, you've got to say. I think that, you know, the pivotal point there was probably those missed shots from Jugger. I don't want to get, you know, onto that too hard. Hindsight, you know, it's 2020 and it's easy to say sat on this side of the screen, but I think that could have been very different. If he gets that kill there straight off, it puts them at a 5v4 advantage. Even if he loses his life to Citizen following that, I think it was the Jackal that he was hitting of Prox, so it takes that scan ability, reduces the information available at that point to MnM, and just changes that round a little bit, which for me is probably the pivotal point there. It's just allowed MnM to take a breath, 30 seconds to go, execute on site, and they've done that very well. They've won the rest of the gunfights. You know, it's still certainly at 5 versus 4, not a foregone conclusion. Again, great plays from MnM.
Finally, we will see a bit of a change-up on the side of Unnamed. They haven't had the best run with their downstairs defense. They did win their top floor, and mid-floor is where they will be headed. Lobby and Piano, the next one to the slaughter for MnM to see if they can successfully take this attack away from Unnamed. They will be bringing the castle for the first time inside of this matchup. Mac back on the Maestro as well, so they want to try and deny more of that smoke game that we know MnM have. They have 4 smoke grenades there on their side, so certainly that intel that Maestro can provide, being an indestructible bulletproof camera and also being able to see through that night vision right through the smoke send, yeah, it does help out quite a bit whenever MnM they have these heavy smokes, and more than likely that's kind of what they're going to try and execute, is smoke with the door and plant.
Yeah, certainly value in that Maestro cam there. The ability to actually deny a plant is limited. You know, it is possible if you get straight onto it and start hammering the planter as soon as it goes down. It's far more about that information and being able to see it happening. As we would expect, we're seeing quite a heavy top floor hold here. We've got Jugger and Tank Ninjas on the Legion and the Valkyrie upstairs just inside the balcony in the meeting room there, and we've also got, I think it was Madman playing on those spiral stairs. Upstairs, very important, and we've also seen the castle brought along this time from Meads, and again, no surprise on this site. It is about just slowing down that lateral movement.
Still plenty of time for MnM. They just have to clear out the roamers primarily, and there is plenty of them lurking upstairs. Madman does get spotted out by Freo, so they know that potentially the spiral flank could be on for the Jaeger. Nello, Prox trying to attack as well as they can. Citizen is in there as well. Turtle also with them, so really spread out at the moment. Citizen trying to find an angle on the spiral stairs. Madman, is he going to be aware of that? Sees a couple of the shots, but no, Citizen, he does not land enough. Madman scurries away. A couple of shots fired back as well, so Madman just barely keeping himself alive and rotates back into the safety of the lobby with the rest of his teammates.
Madman taking some sizable damage there, coming in at 20. We've got Capitao moving through, that's Turtle. Just going to be breaching that door now. He's got a Citizen with him, and they're going to look to push this rear side in numbers. You know, there is a presumption possibly that Unnamed will be watching that main door for any potential plant, so moving in from behind like this, if the cameras have been taken out, which it looks like they have, it's just going to possibly give them the element of surprise. So we've got Citizen now just opening up the closet barricade there that Madman was hiding behind as the Jaeger. He's going to get onto his cams and see what information he can gather, but it doesn't look like that there's much to be had at the moment. Citizen has moved upstairs on the Ash now, and they're going to start that upstairs roam clear with a minute to go. They need to move quickly here so that they can then start thinking about sight and executing.
Time is always against the attackers, especially with this denial that Tank can still provide with the C4 if he still has it, and Mac on those Maestro cameras as well. I don't know if the enemy team will be ready for Madman lurking inside of the closet. Mead still has a castle barricade to play around, but as you can see, all of the players of MnM starting to stack up outside of the circle desk in towards the lobby. Smoke grenade will go down, but this is certainly where Madman should spring his trap, and he does that. Eliminates the plant there. Maestro camera spots two pushing in towards the circle desk as well. Madman falls, but Mac should be there for the refrag. No, Meads gets it before him. Mac, couple of shots coming in from the Alda. Plant will try and be initiated by Prox, but he is forced outside, and somehow Citizen has found his way into Piano. One still in bathroom. He has to try and find Meads. One shot onto Prox, and that's going to be all said and done for round number 4. As Unnamed, they secure the win down to the time, and MnM, they crumbled the final hurdle.
Great plays there from Unnamed. They just played the clock fantastically, did exactly what they needed to do. Madman did not get overexcited in that closet. He knew that he had to wait for his moment, which he did exactly. Waited for that plant to come in, denied that, and that left them with about 20 seconds not only to clear Madman out, but also to move inside, get the diffuser, get it down, and it just became too much of a rush for MnM at that point. Fantastically backed up as well. Got the trade from Meads, I think it was, which is exactly what you need in that scenario. So there you've got 2 lives basically bought for 20 HP on Jaeger. Great plays from Madman.
Top floor is available for Unnamed. This was the first bomb site that they did win, and they get another chance to go at it as well. It was a pretty easy bomb site for the players of Unnamed. They didn't really have any struggle on the side of MnM. They just sat back. MnM, they took their time, as they always do, and really time worked against them. The long angles were being held by the players of Unnamed. Of course, a couple of C4 kills from Tank never hurts as well. So really we're expecting a bit of the same from Unnamed, where they have these Valkyrie cameras scattered about, and they still have Mac there with those Maestro cameras being able to gain all of that intel in the final dying seconds, just like we did see him do last round. Certainly Madman on the Jaeger hasn't really done too much. Did get that big kill onto Freo, who did try and go for the plant last round, but really from that, not the same Madman that we've seen last week.
No, and I think that's hurting Unnamed a little bit right now. Obviously, you can't put your entire team's success or failure down to one player. It's a team game. There's 5 operators there for a reason. But as you quite rightly say, Demo, Madman had an absolutely fantastic week last week. This is somebody coming in with pedigree. MVP, I believe, in last season of the Premiership. So they, I'm sure, are going to be hoping for a few more frags as this game goes on. But I think sometimes you just get into a rhythm, whether you're on defence or attack, and we could easily see that change when he comes in on the attack in the next round.
So once again, MnM, they're going to be spawning just all over the place, really spread out. Doesn't really tell us what kind of push they're going to go for. Could easily rotate towards an admin, but at the moment, majority of them are going to be gearing up to a potential yellow stairs push. This is a strategy that we don't see all too often, yeah. It's viable, it does work, but it does put yourself at more of a significant disadvantage, because literally the enemy team just have to hold one angle onto one door, and that completely shuts down your push. So I'm curious to see how the players of MnM will try and execute this, because it is a very difficult attack compared to admin. Admin simply see if anybody's inside of admin and push on in. Madman already trying to get an early pick and puts Prox down to very low HP. Prox really has to be careful now about where he does peak, because he might get punished for it, just like he nearly did.
That's it, coming in with a peek there. He's now one shot. He's going to need to hit the headshot, and that starts putting pressure on that shot. Madman can just hold himself around behind that pillar there. It is pretty safe. You can only be attacked from the stairs from that point if you keep yourself still. But I'm sure he's going to keep peeking out, and he's going to see if he can get that kill onto Prox and just free up the skylight. Oh, and he just misses it by a hair's breadth there, and there's no surprise to see Prox just transferring off there. He's jumped off, so he's going to get himself reset, and they've just moved somebody else up onto the skylight. Citizen opening things up with the first kill onto Meads. Now, that's not too much of a loss in terms of resource. Castle's already done his job at this point. You know, he's not an active operator in this part of the round. Shots now coming in from Turtle onto Madman on Yellow Stairs. But as you say, as this attack builds up and focuses around Yellow Stairs is a major choke point, and the defenders can just fall back further into sight and hold those angles.
Why has Turtle not put out any of his Evixian bolts? Finally he gets one set out, but it is very, very late in the round. Nello just says, you know what, we have to get some kills on the board, and he does just that. down the tank and down to Mac to try and clutch this up. Mac in a very good position to try and stop the plant and stop that yellow stairs. Maestro camera, of course, is always going to assist his dead teammates. Can hop on that and really see if anybody wants to try and push Mac. I don't know if Tank still has a C4. I believe, no, he doesn't have a C4, so it could have been a potential rotate downstairs and C4 right up and in. If Mac manages to land the kill onto Freo, who has the diffuser, that's going to be all said and done for MnM unless they can pull off all of the kills. 15 seconds to go. I'm sure the utility will come out from the players off MnM. Mac creeping on in towards yellow. Tank wins that gunfight. And Kent says, and here comes the hipfire of the Alda. Lands the headshot on Tonello. B is where they're going to try and plant in towards it. Mac, he'll be there. Shuts down the diffuser. All down the turtle. He gets one for his troubles. But once again, the time just not on the side of MnM. And Unnamed, well, they win it just by a hair. And they do take the lead going into the halftime switch.
Again, I think we're coming down to time management from MnM there, coming in late. As you said at the beginning of that round demo, a yellow stairs push, very difficult. You're moving through a single choke point. You have to get that exactly right. And I think, unfortunately there, as much as Nello's aggression did boost things and get stuff moving, you can see he's 7-3 now, so he's having a great game so far. 12 kills across him and Citizen. Although that aggression did get things moving, it just wasn't sufficient. It was just too little too late, and it just left them with too much to do. Mac being able to move in, unrestricted with the need to even ADS, being that he was Maestro.
It's Maestro, it's that Alda. The hipfire is insane. Not so much, as it is going to be hit with a bit of a nerf, which is pretty heartbreaking for any Maestro mains out there. Certainly Maestro, that hipfire on the Alda was just really too strong. We already seen glimmers of that with inside the Premiership. You know, talking about Harris, whenever he did that, just one of the best kills I've ever seen with the hipfire Maestro, and I believe it was week number 2. So certainly that's going to be a bit of a hit to Maestro, but nonetheless Mac proving that it's still as strong. So really, we're going to move into the start of the defense for MnM. They're pretty much taking the exact same lineup that the players of Unnamed did.
Yeah, we've seen it a good bit of back and forth so far. The first 4 rounds going one in either direction, but then Unnamed, now moving on to the attack, have come in with 2 rounds on the bounce, so that momentum could start to count for something. And just that change up of operators just freshens things up. As I've said, you know, possibly operators like Madman, who haven't maybe seen as much success as they have in previous weeks, might just find a boost of energy here coming onto the other side of the coin. But you're exactly right there, operator lineup very, very similar to what we've seen from Unnamed on defence, but I think Consulate does largely dictate that to a degree, depending on site. You know, if you're coming down to Garage, you do need a bandit to at least attempt to keep that door closed. But because it's a triple wall, it's not too often that you are successful there, unless you can really heavily hold Piano and they don't bring a Thatcher, which in this case they haven't, so it may well be possible.
They do bring the sledge, which is something that MnM they didn't do. They didn't bring that heavy soft breach. You know, didn't see the buck or the sledge being brought to the table. They really relied on procs with the Jackal, using that sidearm shotgun to try and fill that role of a buck or a sledge. I believe that MnM just played it to get rid of bandit charges, as Unnamed they're going to more to play it just to completely tear up the floor, get rid of these particular anchor positions that, again, they can find out intel with, not just, you know, with the Trackle. I'm going to call the Trackle, it's always a good short. I love the Trackle, it's good.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, but the Trackle, good bit of stuff there, finds that intel. Really devastating with a Lion, thankfully. Lion isn't here with us. That's disgusting.
I mean, he hasn't died, but
he should die. You know.
The Trackle, I think you should definitely trademark that demo. So we've got Madman pretty much having free roam up in Piano at the moment. As we've said previously, the roam game can be very, very important on console, and it looks like MnM have given that up very, very early, from at least 2 minutes into the round here. Unnamed have had free roam over Piano, and as you can see now, really starting to rain shots down. Just doesn't get the view there, but I'm sure with time there's going to be further opportunities, unless somebody from MnM can get themselves up a set of stairs and start to put pressure on. But Unnamed, if they're organised, which we know they are from previous weeks, will almost certainly have those flank watchers in place. So MnM now having to largely defend from site, and this is not going to be an easy job.
Unnamed have looked so much more deadly on the attacks than they have on the defense. Madman, I don't know how he missed that kill onto Nello, rotating in through the yellow Mac, trying to go for the plant, but those Toxic Babes will try and delay the round as much as they can, but Madman and Mage doing the work for Unnamed from above. Of course, the sledge rolls always help, but Prox and Citizen, good bit of pinch action onto Mage. He falls, but in the midst of that, Diffuser has been planted, and this is one of the hardest positions that defenders can try and clutch from, is a consulate bottom floor with Diffuser right beside White Van.
Madman stepping up as suggested with a kill onto Citizen. Jugger moves in with a fantastic headshot onto Prox, and that's going to close the round out very, very convincingly for Unnamed. I think maybe that switch of sides was all that they needed. Puts us 4-2 now, and they're starting just to get themselves a little bit of breathing room. Top of the table, not too much of a surprise. If there was ever going to be an upset here, it was going to be for MnM to come in and take the victory, but I am certainly not writing them off. They've done very, very well so far, very structured, but as we've said, slow and methodical, which is what we've come to expect from MnM. Unnamed just coming in with a bit more speed and aggression than I think we saw on the MnM attack there. Very quickly took control of piano and top floor, and not only did they take control of it, which is in contrast to what MnM did, I think, because MnM were getting control of areas that they needed to and then failing to execute and really sort of do what they needed to with that control, whereas Unnamed, absolutely clinical, got through, got into garage, wiped everybody out. There was no safe space for MnM there.
Yeah, they had the vertical control. That really set the teams apart. If you look at MnM, sure, they won their garage attacks, but it was a lot more cutthroat. Sure, they had one of the flawless rounds, but really on Unnamed, that was very much simpler. It was a lot more smoother on the attack. You could just tell by the way the kills were coming in. They planted by, I would say, about what, the minute mark at that stage. You could see the pace quickening. It was really starting to bring the tempo up a lot more, and that's just kind of the difference in bringing the sledge compared to MnM not even taking one of those soft breachers. I'm quite surprised we're not seeing Sophia being brought by both these teams, because she is another very strong operator in not just Consulate, but in nearly every single map. She somehow wriggles her way into a lineup, into the meta, because she just provides that much. Sure, if MnM, they don't want to take a sledge or a bucket, at least take some form of hard destruction to open up some of those connector rotations.
Yeah, I mean, Buck, it's just such a powerful operator potentially. You get Buck in there, you can wipe out that entire piano floor within about 15-20 seconds.
You have nades as well?
Yeah, skeleton key, the floor's open in 20 seconds, you're raining nades down. Bring sledge as well. If you know you're going to get control of piano that easily, bring them both. 4 nades going down in there, you're going to get at least a kill or two. But yeah, like you say, Sophia, another potentially very good option, because it just flips it on its head then. She's also got the concussive grenades for when you do mount that assault down onto site. So we're just going to see some droning now from Mac. Very organised team, Unnamed. They do like to drone in for each other, which is, you know, generally the most efficient way to go about things. You've got to have your comms on point. You know, you've got to be giving clear call-outs, but you're then going to start seeing an increase of pre-fires coming in and people just getting their heads taken off. But we can see now Meads moving onto that double window of the console office site with the Jackal, and he gets the first kill onto Nilo there, so that's going to bring us 5 versus 4, and Unnamed really starting to move now.
Yeah, smoke off the board as well always helps in that scenario. Citizen on the roam game has the Scorpion Evo to his name. We've seen Kendra last week play a bit of the FO12, but no, he will be going with the Scorpion. That's one thing that really is interesting to me, that players somehow, you know, some people prefer the FO12 and some people prefer the Scorpion. 2 very different guns, and somehow they, you know, they choose between that.
Yeah, I mean, the shotgun on Ella is just so powerful because of the rotation options. You know, you don't necessarily, as she had the impact grenades removed from her as almost, you know, as a nerf, but if you take the shotgun, if you can get yourself in, I think the only problem with the shotgun on console, oh, Citizen trying to get things moving with an aggressive jump out, but Tank will get him, followed by 2 quick kills from Jugger and Madman, taking Turtle and Prox off the board. But how about that? Frau moves in with 2 of his own. Headshots onto Meads and Max, but that still leaves us in a 3 versus 1. If any operator can do it, Maestro's probably not a bad option with that extremely powerful LMG and ACOG, but pinned back into bathroom here, it's going to be very difficult, and I'd expect to see the plant going down, which it does, so that leaves us 3 versus 1. He has to make the challenge, Jugger's ready for it, and that closes out the round for Unnamed, and things are certainly becoming an uphill struggle for MnM.
Yeah, Unnamed, they secure themselves a point at least from this matchup. If not, you know, they could easily go on to take this next round and take all 3 points and sit right up there with 10 points after this. Sure, Freo, fair play to him. He got a couple of kills there, but really impactless kills nonetheless. And never clutching a 1 versus 5, stuck in bathroom just never happens, and it probably never will in the history of Siege. But nonetheless, Unnamed, their attacks just so much more, their precision, their strike force, where everything worked for them, and that's exactly what they did. I'm really concerned that they let their smoke drop so early. I think that may have been Nello trying to play a little bit too aggressive, and really as a smoke player you really need to pick your battles, because if you get punished and you lose that, you put your team at such a disadvantage leading into those kind of final couple of seconds.
I think the mistake was probably compounded by the same sort of action from Citizen as well. They lost Nilo to that early aggression. Citizen then tries what can only be described as a very aggressive run out, because it's a long way back into the map from there, especially. He may have already prepped the double door as the front door, I don't know, to get himself back into the building. If he hasn't and he has to 3-hit it to get back in, it's even longer to get back. If you're going to do that, I mean, it's probably one of them players. If he does it and he fires his team up and he gets the kill and it's successful, we're probably here saying, you know, what a fantastic risk. But, you know, as it is, it didn't pan out. And I think when you've already lost your smoke early round, it's probably just too big of a risk at that point. So, you know, maybe questionable from Citizen on that one.
Even at that stage, if he did get that kill, everybody else died, and Unnamed were inside the bomb site, and then they know, okay, he's downstairs, we plant the bomb, we sit and watch the yellow staircase, and then we win the round from that stage. So, really, Unnamed just being a lot more deadly on the attacks, and can they have one final chance to finish this matchup, put it to bed, and put MnM to bed? More importantly, MnM, can they try and bounce back? Still yet to get a defensive win. It has been all Unnamed up to this point. Exact same similar lineup, except we do see Prox bringing the Vigil for the first time. So what's kind of your take, yes, on the Vigil in these dire consequences for MnM?
I think they're obviously looking at the situation and thinking, you know, what has not been successful enough for us, the roam game. They've not really had too many kills off the roam. We saw the smoke, we saw the Citizen go down, the 2 fraggers, Nello and Citizen. So I think they're trying to bolster that by bringing the Vigil, but again, we're going to see an early down on Nello. Same mistake. They're going to lose the smoke early on if they can get an angle onto it, but in comes the Vigil. Prox moving in with the kill onto Jugger. That could well be as a direct result of the inability to find him on the drones there.
I don't know how they let Nello get away from that. That's very, very poor from Unnamed. I'm sure if they come and watch that back, they'll be kicking themselves for letting that kill get away, because it certainly is a big one. That's a kill onto Smoke. Eliminates the factor of you having to play the clock even more so. Prox on that room game finally gets himself a kill. I'm quite surprised, really, why MnM are not going to opt for potentially a Valkyrie or that Pulse. You know, we haven't seen any Pulse whatsoever. He is extremely strong in this map, especially in these kind of last couple of seconds. You're expecting those C4s to be coming pretty big.
Yeah, Prox's drone. I think that was Prox just avoiding a drone there, managing to get his cloak on just in time, but Mac will get the kill onto Nello finally, albeit nearly 2 minutes later. Nello, as you said, very, very fortunate to get himself picked up there, and as it all seemed to be going wrong for MnM, Prox stepped in with a kill and Nello got picked up, and we find ourselves now at a 4 versus 4 situation, but Madman has control of that yellow stairs door now, and he's just going to look to start working the angles. As we can see, a number of attackers now in console, and they can start thinking about getting this plant down. So Meads will put through shots into the connector area, but Prox is going to kill the downed Madman. Meads still trying to just battle on through that connector wall, but he's not going to get any joy just yet. His smokes are down, but the diffuser is no longer in hand. Turtle gets the kill onto Meads. Great defending here from MnM as they bring themselves to 4-2 in favour of Mankind, but the diffuser is down. Citizen and Turtle getting kills, but I think it's going to be say goodnight on this plant as they manage to get in and get the defuse.
Excellent stuff from MnM, an excellent retake strategy from them being implemented, and it did work to the best of their ability. Of course, that kill onto the IQ very early on really did help out that MnM lineup, gave them that more free utility, that mobility factor that they can play around. They don't have to worry about the IQ, who was primarily kind of holding off the majority of those kind of roam flanks. Still, all in the hands of Unnamed. They have this match point still firmly in their grasp. This will be leading into round number 8, so if we do see MnM take this round, then we will be headed to round number 10 for, again, the final round. If you did not know the format, where we do have draws, so it is possible for MnM to pull back and at least salvage something out of this, which would be a draw. But Unnamed, I'm sure they not going to let that little round that they did falter in really slip them up and get into their heads. I'm sure they will finish out this round because they have that downstairs to attack once more.
Absolute chaos in the console office in the last 30 seconds there. I even managed to miss the plant going down, I think. But great plays from MnM to come in and take that back on the retake, clear house, and just get in and defuse in time. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here from this round as well. If we go back to round 6, that was the last time that MnM tried to defend the garage. They tried in vain and were very unsuccessful, I think it's fair to say. Unnamed ran absolutely rampant over them that round, but we see a couple of differences in the lineup this time. So we've got Nelo coming in on the pulse, we've got Prox sticking with that vigil after seeing some success last time. So if they can put both of those operators to a little bit more use, it certainly makes it more dangerous to operate inside Piano now that there is a pulse on the board, because you've got that potential of the C4 toss onto the ceiling from garage if he plays down there. So again, it just makes it a little bit more risky for Sledge to be putting his hammer down on the floor in Piano.
And again, they are going to be trading out the smoke, which is always a bit of a worry for me on a downstairs basement with a massive triple wall that you really need to deny the plant as much as you can. Not bringing those gas canisters will certainly 100% come into play, a big factor in the way that MnM are really got to try and play around the plant, because we know in previous round that it was very simple for Unnamed. They get open the wall, they go for the plant, and really the smoke grenades were the only thing that stopped that from happening. Sure, they have a C4 this time from the Elo to try and deny that even more so. Prox on the rope again, trying to get a little bit frisky with the Capo, who is just going to be lurking on the double windows. Prox looking for anything that he can. Go for the wall bang shots, and he gets the kill on to Tank. That's going to be Capo off the board. Well done by Prox. The Vigil proving big in these final couple of rounds that they've played. Citizen, kill for him. Madman falters. So this attack that Unnamed, they're going for a very, very heavy split push, trying to take it upstairs as much as they can, but just not working for them.
Great plays again from Prox on that Vigil, almost a second sense, whether there was a cam out there possibly. I can't see that the default cam would have been left in place, but he certainly heard him, if nothing else. Got some cracking shots through on the wall bang, just to take the Capitao straight off. And how about that for some vital utility on a garage push? Losing those smoke arrows, losing those asphyxiating bolts before he gets any chance to use them at all. So that's 2 rounds from Prox where he's brought the Vigil and managed to really bring him to Bayer. If he can get another kill now, I tell you what, he's taking this game by the scruff of the neck for MnM, and he's bringing them straight back into it.
So final minute or so to go for MnM. You can see the great use that Pulse is trying to get out off that cardiac scanner. Citizen, double kill for him inside of this round as mates he will fall. Jugger and Mac down to the 2 supports to see if they can pull through and win this matchup. Will be very difficult, both of them. Minute to go and they're upstairs trying to hunt Roamers, and Turtle really trying to stick it to them. Finally nabs the shot onto Jugger. Can he get himself a 2k? No, Mac will be there, but Citizen, 3k for him inside that round. Mac will fall, and MnM, they take it to round number 10, and they have one more shot at pulling this back for a draw.
Exciting game to say the least here. You know, nothing short of what we're coming to expect from MnM here. And Unnamed up at the top of the table are going to be desperate to take this round and put that breathing space between them and Team Secret, because let's be honest, they are the team to stay ahead of, and they are going to be hot on the chase. If this comes out as a draw and Unnamed only get 1 point, there is no doubt that Team Secret are going to be absolutely itching to get playing against Barrage later on, and I think we could see a slightly different game there where Team Secret come out with a taste for blood, looking to put themselves clear at the top of the table. But it's all down to this round yet. We're going to see Prox sticking with that Vigil, and Citizen just changing things up. He's gone from the Ella to the Alibi. Do a similar job, you know, potentially just denying that entry, or at least denying easy entry, and providing information as to where the push is coming from. Both 3-speed operators, good on the roam, so not too big of a difference, but Citizen obviously maybe just not feeling quite comfortable on Ella.
So Unnamed, they know that it will be a mid-floor bomb site from MnM, and they have took the big boy. The Glass has been brought into the lineup the first time this evening. Glass will be shown. Again, Glass very, very strong, up there as one of the most banned operators in the entire game for good reason. That thermal scope and the combination with these other smoke operators make that a misery for any defender. Trying to play that anchor role, and looking at it, they have 6 smoke grenades to use and abuse for Meads pushing in with that OTS. A very devastating rifle, can really melt you in a couple of shots, and also that really good rate of fire helps with that melting capability. But we'll see really how MnM, they cope with that. They have the Maestro cameras, which is going to be the biggest counter to those Glass. And we're going to see the quick plant and push from the players of Unnamed. This is a very risky play, but it has managed to not work for them. Diffuser has been dropped. Turtle, the saviour for MnM, has stopped that round, because if that bomb did get planted, that would have been game, set, and match. Citizen, a kill for him. On to Jugger, one emphatic round that this has started to become. Mac responds with a kill onto his own. 2 Freyo, and somehow Madman coming in behind, eliminates Citizen, but Prox is there for the refrag. Meads, somehow in all the kills, has ended up in B bomb site, but he's going to be all by himself, as Mac has fallen by Turtle. 2 minutes still to go. Meads, all he can do is try and go for 1 kill onto an Elo. 1 versus 2. Still has to deal with 2 more players upstairs. I need to catch my breath, Ace.
Meads just showing the power of Glass there, getting in, taking the head off the smoke, and I don't think he actually realised, but there was a potential there. If he'd been quick, he could maybe have started looking about getting a plant inside double door, as both players were over the piano in the console office. But it's a quick rotation back through meeting. What he needs to do now, on only about 40 health, is he has to start breaking this down into 2 individual 1v1s, but Turtle will move round. No doubt the shout came that a shot had gone up through hatch from circle desk, allowing Turtle to move in from behind. The easiest kill he's going to have all night long, and he just gets in and gets the kill.
Massive, massive plays from the players of MnM. Somehow they were 5-2 down inside of this matchup, and they have pulled 3 rounds on the trot, and they managed to salvage a draw. MnM, wow, just these guys are literally the wonder kids. They pull out these clutches from we don't know where. We don't know, we're still trying to find them. But Unnamed, well, just completely throwing that match away. I
certainly don't want to take anything away from MnM there. That last round, you know, they did extremely well. They did what they needed to, especially when they came down to the 2 versus 1 at the end. They stuck together. You know, they worked as a pair. But I think the quick plant, cost them. They tried to. It's an all or nothing play. It's a real gamble. And do you want to do that in a match point situation? To be fair, I'd like to see what the clock was. They must have been within about half a second of getting that down.